Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Max Hasty channel. For this festive season, we will be doing another round of sweet treats this year, but because I like alliterations, for this month we will be doing December Delights. As the name suggests, for the month of December, we will be making 4 more sweet treats that will hopefully help you celebrate the holidays. For this episode, we will be making a Yule Log.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
For this recipe, we'll be making a bunch of different components, so I'll be splitting them up into 4 different sections to make it easier to follow. First up, for decoration, we will be adding some sugared cranberries. These take the longest amount of time to make, so we'll be making them first. But if you wish to skip this optional step, you are welcome to. If you do want to decorate the cake with sugared cranberries and rosemary, you will need 1 cup of fresh cranberries, some rosemary sprigs, 3/4 cup of water, and 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar. First, in a medium saucepan, bring the water and 3/4 cup of sugar to a simmer, whisking until the sugar has dissolved. Once that's done, remove the pan from the heat and let it cool for 5 minutes. Then, in a bowl, place the cranberries and rosemary, and then pour the cooled syrup over and give that a little mix. Cover the bowl and set aside for 15 minutes. While we wait, line a baking sheet with parchment paper, and when you're ready, transfer the cranberries and rosemary from the sugar syrup using a slotted spoon onto the papered sheet. Allow this to dry uncovered for 1 hour. Then, pour the remaining 1/2 cup of sugar into a large bowl and toss the cranberries and rosemary in the sugar, coating them all the way around. Place this back onto the parchment paper pan and let them dry uncovered for at least an hour at room temperature or in the fridge. Then, put them in an airtight container in the fridge until you're ready to use them. Next, for the cake itself, you will need 1 1/3 cups of cake flour, or if you have some all-purpose flour and cornstarch, you can substitute with 1 1/4 cup of flour and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. You will also need 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder for the batter and 3 tablespoons or so for rolling the cake, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 6 eggs, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter, and a little bit more to make the pan non-stick, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. First, preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then, while we wait, spread some melted butter on a 12 by 17 inch baking pan so that the parchment paper sticks. Then, line it with parchment paper and grease the parchment paper also. We want to make sure that the cake doesn't stick to the paper, so make sure to add a lot of butter. Then, in a medium bowl, add the cake flour, or substitute, cocoa powder, baking powder, and salt together, and whisk. In another bowl, separate your egg whites and yolks, being careful not to get any of the yolks into the whites. If you do, it'll hamper the proteins in the whites to be able to stiffen, creating a less fluffy cake. Once your egg whites are separated, beat them with a hand mixer on high speed for 4 to 5 minutes, and add in 1/2 cup of sugar while mixing, and mix until stiff peaks form. If this doesn't happen, it means that there was probably some fat that got mixed in from the yolk. It's not the end of the world if this happens, so regardless of the stiffness of your whites, transfer them to a separate bowl, and then using the same mixing bowl you just had your egg whites in, add the egg yolks, remaining 1/2 cup of sugar, melted butter, and vanilla extract. Beat this together on high speed for 3 to 4 minutes, or until it thickens and is light in color. Add 1/2 of the whipped egg whites into the egg yolk mixture. Beat on low speed for a few seconds, and then repeat with the remaining egg whites and beat on low for a few more seconds. Next, add 1/2 of the flour mixture and fold it in with the silicone spatula until combined, and repeat it with the remaining flour mixture. When everything is ready, spread the batter evenly onto the prepared pan. Then, gently bang the pan on the counter a couple of times to pop any air bubbles. And when you're ready, bake for 15 to 16 minutes or until the cake springs back when lightly poked with your finger. Try to avoid over-baking it like me, because the cake will crack easier if you do. While we wait, we'll prep the rolling station. Place a thin kitchen towel flat on the counter, and then using a sieve, dust the towel with 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Then, once the cake comes out of the oven, quickly run a knife around the edges to loosen it and immediately invert it onto the towel. Peel off the parchment paper and then, starting with the narrow end, begin tightly rolling the hot cake up with the towel. Do this slowly and gently to avoid cracking the cake. When it's rolled up, allow the cake to cool completely rolled up in the towel in the fridge for about 3 hours or longer. Now, since we need to wait for our cake to finish cooling off anyways, we can make our optional but very cool looking meringue mushrooms in the meantime. If you want to make these, you will need 1 large egg white, 1/16 teaspoon of cream of tartar, a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, half a teaspoon or so of cocoa powder for dusting, and 1 ounce of semi-sweet chocolate. First, preheat the oven to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Then, in a mixing bowl, add the egg white, cream of tartar, and salt, and mix them together with a hand mixer on high speed until foamy, about 2 minutes, and then slowly add the sugar and beat this until stiff glossy peaks form, about 2 more minutes. This meringue is really important to get right, so be extra sure that you don't have any yolk in the mix before starting. Once this is ready, scoop it into a piping bag and then onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Pipe quarter-sized circles, which will be the mushroom tops, and 1-inch tall cones, which will be the stems. I recommend making a couple extra stems since they might collapse in the oven. This is why we needed the meringue to be perfect, since the stems wouldn't support themselves otherwise. Then, using a moistened finger, smooth down any peaks if needed, and then lightly dust the mushroom tops with cocoa powder using a sieve. Then, when you're ready, bake this for 1.5 to 2 hours. Do not open the oven as the meringues bake, otherwise they'll collapse. Then, once the time has elapsed, turn off the oven after and let the meringues sit inside the cooling oven for 20 minutes. Once they're ready, remove the meringues from the oven and cool them completely. When they're just about cool, melt some chocolate in a double boiler or microwave, and then, once you're ready to put your mushrooms together, remove the top from the paper and dot a bit of chocolate onto the center of the bottom of the mushroom top, and adhere a mushroom stem to it. Repeat with the remaining tops and stems to form mushrooms, and then let the chocolate cool and harden for about an hour. Then we will be putting everything together, so once your roll has cooled, remove it from the fridge and let it warm up to room temperature while we make the cream filling and chocolate ganache topping. For the filling, you will need 1.5 cups of cold heavy cream, 2 tablespoons of coffee liqueur, or 1 tablespoon of strong coffee, a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, and a 1/2 cup of finely chopped hazelnuts. And for the ganache, you will need 6 ounces or so of semi-sweet chocolate and 3/4 cup of heavy cream. First, to make the filling, in a mixing bowl, add the heavy cream, coffee or coffee liqueur, powdered sugar, and cocoa powder, and mix with a hand mixer on medium-high speed for about 2 to 3 minutes, until medium to stiff peaks form. If your frosting isn't thickening, you can add some more powdered sugar, and that should help. Then, when you're ready, gently and very slowly unroll the cake. Don't worry too much if your roll has some cracks in it. We'll patch it up with the frosting, so you won't even notice. Next, spread the whipped filling evenly on top, leaving about a 1/2-inch border around the cake. Then, sprinkle the chopped hazelnuts on top, and when you're ready, gently roll the cake back up without the towel this time. If your roll tore like mine, just try to keep everything together and use the frosting to stick the pieces back together. This part can be messy, so don't worry if some filling spills from the sides. Once it's rolled up again, carefully place it onto a cutting board and cover this with plastic wrap, and refrigerate for at least 30 minutes before shaping and topping with the ganache. When you're ready to decorate the log with the ganache, heat the 3/4 cup of heavy cream in a small saucepan until it begins to simmer, but don't boil it. Then, in a mixing bowl, add the chocolate and pour the heated cream over Then let it sit for 2 to 3 minutes to soften the chocolate. Next, slowly stir until the chocolate has melted and it has combined completely. Then refrigerate this uncovered for at least 30 minutes and up to 1 hour to thicken. When you're ready, remove the rolled cake from the refrigerator. Diagonally slice a 3 to 4 inch section off one end to create a branch and arrange the cake on a serving plate by placing the angled slice against the side of the roll. Then, slowly pour and spread the thickened ganache all over the top and the sides of the cake. Once the log is covered to your liking, using a fork, make textured lines in the ganache to make it resemble tree bark. Then, decorate with the meringue mushrooms, sugared cranberries and rosemary, and a dusting of powdered sugar to act as snow just before serving. And with that, your Yule log is ready to eat.
A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bride was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lame, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank, and then we got upset. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
I've always wanted to make a Yule log, but I never had the time to, and it seemed really complicated to make. And after making this video, I would agree. There's a lot of really important steps that are easy to mess up if you're not careful that will make this dish not as ideal. But I hope that this video shows that even if you mess up, you can still salvage it to make something that still looks and tastes great. This specific dish's origin comes from France, where this dish is known as Bûche De Noël. Of course, this dish is meant to emulate the other Christmas tradition of burning a specially selected log, known also as a Yule log. Though the origins of this tradition have been lost to time, it seems that it has been observed since at least the 17th century, with the cake version emerging around the 19th century. So, if you can't get a real Yule log going this Christmas, maybe the cake version might help you celebrate the holiday. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. In the comments below, let me know how it went, if you decided to make it, and let me know if there's anything you want to make next. Like the video, share with your friends and family, and subscribe to this channel for more episodes of the Max AC channel. And remember, if you want to stay cool in the kitchen, turn your AC to the max and watch the Max AC channel.
Wow, that's a big log.